Hey, welcome to today's lesson on the biggest influences of human behavior. Now, if you paid attention during the fundamentals module, you may already know what these two big influences are, but effectively they are what we call in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, they're called the meta programs, which is basic, and here's what they are. Number one is your belief about the world, and number two is your belief about yourself. And the thing is, what I will first do is help you understand like in detail like what your subconscious belief about the world and about yourself are, and you know you can see how the concept works. Like that's the first thing we'll do. And then the second thing we'll do is if you realize when we do the first bit that you don't actually have a healthy belief about the world or about yourself, then I will show you how we actually change those beliefs. Now, in terms of why this is so important is it's because if you remember in the fundamentals module, I talked about, look for a color. I want you to look for blue. And then, you looked everywhere for blue. And then I said, close your eyes. And then I said, tell me what you saw that was brown. And then you struggled. But then when I told you to open your eyes this time and see brown, you can see a lot more brown this time. And that's because there's 8 billion bits of information, coming into us at one time, and that's too much. And hence, we need to filter that information somehow. And as I showed you in the fundamentals module, one of those filters is called meta programs. Meta programs is basically at a meta level, at a macro level, at a large level, what we're focusing on. So our meta program, one of them will be our belief about ourselves, and another one will be our belief about our world. And let me use an example to really bring this home. You can do this on yourself. Fill in the blank below using your first instinct. The world is. So if you didn't do it the first time, use your first instincts, fill in that blank. The world is. Now for you, you may have said the world is great, or the world is big, or the world is whatever, right? Maybe what you said was totally harmless, like the world is big. But I'll give you a funny example. I once had a guy in a program who, when we did this exercise together, his answer was, there were 7 guys, and they were all like, the world is beautiful, the world is my oyster. They had all these different answers. He came to this particular guy, and he goes, the world is confusing. And the funny thing is, he was the one guy that got lost on the way to that retreat. No one else got lost. So there was 7 guys or 8, maybe it was either 7 or 8, and the other guys in that group, none of them got lost on the way there, but he did. And it's funny because in his meta program is, or was, the world is confusing. And hence, if you believe that at a meta level, you will find ways to make it confusing. In the same way, if you believe that the world is against you, you will just keep finding evidence on evidence on evidence the world is against you. What if you was what if you like? Here's another one. Life is. Answer that blank one. Life is. So you may have said life is good, life is beautiful, life is crazy, or whatever, right? But the thing is, then we'll keep finding more of that. I hope you can see that. And can you see the change in energy between life is against me versus life is sacred? Do you feel that change in energy? See, can you see if every day you told yourself life is sacred, wouldn't you just literally see different things in the world? Wouldn't you approach it in a different way? Wouldn't you feel different about yourself? And that's what's important. It's about understanding for what you're trying to do with your life, what's the best meta program to have. So you've got the world is, you've got your answer, and the question is this the best perception you can have of the world to get the outcome you want? And if not, what can your new worldview be? Now, There's typically two categories of guys who do this exercise. Number one are the guys who have something quite relatively benevolent and innocent. So you may have the world is big or the world is great. And in terms of the worldview that you need to create the outcome that you want, maybe the world is great is fine, or maybe it's a slight adjustment to the world is full of opportunity or something like that, or the world loves me or something like that. If it's quite a small degree change, then you don't need to do the heavy duty process that I'll show you in another module about how to change your meta programs, how to change your big views. Um, all you need to do is, as part of your morning routine, you want to develop some mantras or affirmations. And in those and there's going to be another module on those on developing affirmations for your morning routine. But effectively, one of your morning mantras or your morning affirmations is going to be, the world is full of opportunity. In every interaction, I see an opportunity to connect with a new person and deepen my impact in the world or something. I totally made that up, right? But like eh, if you're telling yourself every single because a lot of guys come to me telling me that they have a lot of negative thoughts going through their head, and that's because we're not taught on like consciously taking control of the stories going on in our head, consciously taking control of our thoughts. We're not taught that, which is ridiculous, right? So what we're doing here is consciously taking control of the thoughts that are going in our head, and we do that by priming. Priming means, like, instead of watching the news every morning and just getting worried and worried and worried about how the world is doomed, instead of just flooding your mind with negativity first thing in the morning, it's intentionally, or whatever. We don't know what's going to be on the news, to be honest. We don't know what's going to be on Instagram, but what we do know is what's going to be on our priming script, on our affirmations, on our mantras. And that's the key. It's actually creating a little anchor point for yourself where every morning you prime yourself intentionally about things, to be grateful for, or on gratitude, on the outcomes that you're trying to achieve, on something like more positive, to help you like transform the stories that are in your head. uh, how we transform things is is interrupting patterns. Everything runs on a pattern. So basically, if you've just got a pattern in your head that like the world is against me, no problem. Like, if you say to yourself, the world is full of opportunity enough times, and you do it, consistently every morning, and I'll talk more about that later. But when you start to do that, what it does is it starts to offer you a new way of thinking, and then that leads to slightly different actions in your life, which leads to different results, and it becomes like a positive feedback loop where the different results lead you to go, oh, hey, maybe the world's not as against me as I thought. Maybe there are opportunities in the world. And it reinforces that belief. And that belief reinforces more confident actions, which leads to better results, which lead to reinforcing that belief that, yeah, okay, the world actually is full of opportunities. Can you see how, like, just like that, we've just got to pattern interrupt and take control. And as I said, I will show you how to do all of that stuff later. But for now, just to understand the concept, I just want you to have a pulse on whether what you've got in your head is, number one, knowing what you've got in your head, and number two, examining, is it the right thing, and number three, if not, what should it be? So we do the same exercise for your belief about yourself, which is the second biggest influence for you. So what is your deep, honest belief about yourself in relation to the life changes you wish to make? So maybe you think I'm worthless, or something to that effect, some kind of, uh, you know, yeah. Just have a look. I am a. Think about the goals that you want to achieve. I am a. Is it I'm a failure, or is it I'm born to be successful? What is it for you? Is this the best perception you can have about yourself to get the outcome you want? And if not, What can your new perception about yourself be? I am or I have. So as I said, you will find in another module how the actual process, the deep process of reprogramming. Regardless, this is always the first step. You've got to identify what's already in there, and then you've got to identify what it needs to be. And for now, between now and the time you do that module, keep telling yourself this new mantra. Keep telling it to yourself. Your thoughts are the forerunners of all things. So if you keep telling yourself these new empowering mantras, these new empowering affirmations, you will slowly start to shift your actions and create different results. I hope that makes sense. So good to be with you in this video, and I will see you in the next one.